Hi there and welcome to St Andrew's Messy Church for June the 12th. I'm Tim and I'm going to tell you about the time when Jesus went fishing in Simon's boat and he begins to call some of his first special friends, which we call disciples. Now, I was going to tell you the story from inside a boat, but I haven't got one. So I've made one out of this cardboard box and I've made a mast and a sail for the side. Maybe you could do that as well. Or if you haven't got a box, maybe you could use a sofa at home, put some cushions along the edge to try and turn it into a boat, if that's okay with your mum and dad. Now, I've also got a fishing net. There we go. It's not as big as it looks. It's actually very small. So the fisherman would have had a bigger net than that. Probably something a bit more like that to help them. So there we go. So they've got fishing nets. I've got my other net there. All in my tiny little boat. Now, let's move those a minute. So let's try and imagine what that might be like, being in a boat like that when Jesus pushes off from the shore. Now we need to remember, before this, Jesus had been teaching, but because it was really crowded, Jesus needed a bit of social distance from all the people that were pushing him on the edge of the sea, wanting to hear more of his teaching. So he climbs into this fishing boat, which belongs to Peter, Simon Peter. And they move a little way out into the sea, where he carries on his teaching. Then a little while later, chatting to the fishermen, he finds out what a rubbish night of fishing they've had. And so he helps them out a bit. So this is the bit where you might want to imagine you're in a boat. Maybe close your eyes and imagine yourself rocking backwards and forwards in a little boat. So you're in the boat and maybe you're one of the disciples or one of their friends. Listen to the water, the small waves lapping against the side of the wooden boat. You hear the boat creak every movement that anybody makes as people shuffle their feet and stretch and change position. Can you feel the boat rock and move? It's not very comfortable in a small fishing boat. The seats are hard. There's not much space for probably 7 fishermen with their nets and their baskets and their sails and their oars and all the other equipment they need. And after a night's fishing, not very successful fishing, you're cold and tired and your back aches and your knees are stiff and you've caught nothing. So you sit quietly. And then Jesus comes along. And then he tells you to throw out your nets on the other side of the boat. And suddenly there's fish everywhere, so many that the boat might sink. And you have to get another boat across to come and help you. There's fish splashing in the water everywhere. So you pull in the net. It moves and stops, it moves and stops because it's so heavy. And you lift it into the boat eventually. Then Jesus tells you, you're going to fish for people. Now that sounds a bit weird, but what Jesus means is you're going to stop fishing in a fishing boat and try and teach people about God instead. So instead of catching fish, it's a bit like catching people by teaching them about God. Now, we've got some special crafts to help you in telling that story today. And so I'm going to go ashore and find Rachel so we can do our crafts for today. So I'll see you in a minute. All ashore. Yay! Got one!
Well done,
I win!
Hi everyone!
Hi.
You've caught us fishing.
Caught a fish.
Tim, what are you wearing?
It's my fishing hat. Shark. Fishing.
very nice. Suits you.
Cool, isn't it?
I hope there weren't too many sharks in the sea when Jesus
Don't
was
suppose there were.
out on his boat. Right, everyone, today all our crafts are based on the story of Jesus in the fishing boat. So we're going to be making lots of sea-themed, fishy things with lots of colour paper, paints, cutting out, all the usual stuff. So we're going to start off by making these amazing jellyfish from under the sea. These are so cool. So in your pack you should have had some paper plates. So what I have done, these ones are nice bright colours, yellow and pink. I've painted one of my plates green, but you can do whatever colour you like. You could do them stripy, you could cover it in material. As usual, you just got to improvise, but I've painted mine green. What I'm going to do is cut it completely in half. So we've got half a paper plate. Put that onto the side. Then we're going to make these holes here so we can add the tentacles. What I'm going to use, I'm going to try with a hole punch. So let's have a go. That might be the easiest way, and work my way along like that. Or if you haven't got a hole punch in your house, if you get a bit of plasticine or glue tack or something, put that down and get a pen or a pencil. If you put that down, put your paper plate on top of it and push the pen or pencil through, and that makes a nice good hole as well. So you can do it like that. Right, so Tim, there's some nice coloured tentacles here. Should we do a multicoloured
Oh, yeah,
one?
let's.
So I think
Rainbows are good at this time.
if you cut a long strand, let's just cut any length to start with. Let's see how we go. So let's cut it.
Yeah.
Cut it about there. Let's have a look. See how long that is. Da, da, da. Cool, that's about right. So I'm going to fold it in half. This is the easy way to thread them through. So I'll fold it in half so you've got a little loop like that. Poke the loop through the hole. Open up the hole. Put the rest of the string through. And then it hangs like that. So then you've got 2 tentacles already. So should we do some others?
Just do one more.
Just to give you an idea of how to do it.
Add all the colours.
Have you got another colour we can put on? Should we do a blue one? And then just fill in all your holes like that. Why don't you put that one
I'll
in
do a blue
there,
one.
and then you should have some googly eyes.
Oh, googly eyes. I like googly eyes.
Here we go. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of my googly eyes. There we go. So let's turn him round. Stick some eyes on. Whoop. You can make a whole sea of jellyfish, couldn't you? You could even put a hole in the top so you can hang them up and make a whole mobile full of jellyfish. I'm going to give him a nice smiley face like the others have got. There we go.
Excellent.
How about that with a smiley face? But obviously you're going to fill all the
Excellent
Yeah,
jellyfish.
brilliant,
What's
then.
next?
Right, let's put those there. We're going to carry on with our paper plates. So with the other paper plate, we're going to make it into a fish. Here's a couple of examples here of the types of fish you can make.
Oh, more googly
And
eyes.
these are quite tropical fish. Not sure these are what would have landed in the nets that Jesus and Simon were using, but let's just be adventurous and make really cool, bright coloured fish. So on my paper plate, I thought I'll paint blue and green stripes for this one. So that's going to be the body of my fish. And then, oh, thank you. With the other paper plates. I mean, you can use as many as you like. You might even have some more paper plates at home. This is the other half of my jellyfish. I'm just going to use to make, let's see, we could do let's cut out a sort of partial tail shape. How about that? Do you think that would work? I'll use sellotape for this, just because I think it might be a bit quicker. Stick that on the back, so we've got a little tail now. Should we do a little, could cut round like this on the bits around the edge of the plate. That could be the fin on the top. Hey, I'm getting messy, Tim. I've got this paint still wet.
It really is messy, church, today.
It certainly is. Oh. There, so there we've got a fin on the top. Should we do a fin on the bottom as well?
Well, I think I'll do.
Then you can, oh no, come on, he's got to...
Do a swimming fin.
How do you do one of those?
You know, flappy ones like Nemo.
Okay. Let's have a go.
Not that
Like
little.
that. A little flappy fin on the bottom.
She hasn't seen a fish before.
Yeah, looks like he's got a little pair of legs, doesn't it? That's meant to be two little fins at the bottom.
What's that? That's supposed to be that way round. Where's the tail? Just ignore her. These ones are really good. She didn't make these ones.
Let's put an eye on him. He needs an eye. Then we'll know what way round he goes. Okay. Glue.
It's pulling a funny face.
Okay, so hang on.
There, I'm going to put it there. That's its mouth. You've put a mouth on it. That's its tail.
Oh! Okay, so he's got a mouth. I thought I'd put them on the bottom. How about that then? He's going like this. Ooh. That looks alright.
Yeah, but that's very good, Rachel. Well
That's
done.
a nice fish.
Yes.
So
But you can do them like this.
you can be really adventurous and
Any shaped
make
fish you
any
want.
type of fish, and we would love to see pictures of them.
Yep. Right, what's next?
Right, so that's our fish.
Fish and jellyfish.
Right, I'll just get rid of all my paint.
Thanks.
Okay, make a small boat. We're going to make a boat. So in your pack, you should have had another paper plate, but in the form of a bowl this time, a paper bowl. So I suppose you could paint the bowl, you could colour it in, you could use crayons. In fact, if you use wax crayons, it would give it a nice sort of waterproofy
Oh, and you can actually
coat as
float it
well,
in the
yeah. So you can decorate that however you like. You should have a lump of Play-Doh, which is, or plasticine, is going to go in the bottom of the boat. Now you should have some pieces of paper in your pack. There was a nice red piece of paper in mine. This is what we're going to use to make a sail. So I'm going to use the bottom of the paper, this flat bit here, as the bottom of the sail. I'm going to draw a sort of a sail up to the top corner and back down to this corner. So it looks a bit like the shark fin, actually. Show you what shape I've done. So I'm going to cut that out. Up to the half. But again, you could decorate your sail however you want. You could stick things on it, you could colour it in, you could write a message. So you also need, I think you're going to have to find something yourself, some sort of stick. You could go out in the garden and find a stick that's blown off a tree, or you could, this is a coffee stirrer thing, you could use a cocktail stick, a pencil, a chopstick, anything. So we're going to make 2 holes in here. I'm going to use this Play-Doh again to make the holes. So get my pen, poke a little hole through, not too big. So we've got two holes in the middle. And then I'm going to put the stick through the first hole, round the back, and then through the second hole. So it sort of creates a bit of a bend like that. So it looks like it's blowing in the wind across the water. So put your Play-Doh back in, and you can stick your sail in your boat. Yeah, go on. Ooh. So you could try it out, fill up your bath, fill a sink, see if it floats.
Cool.
There we go, so there's our boat.
Boat, fish, jellyfish. What's next?
And now we're going to make a storm, like the storm in the story. So you will need your plastic bottle.
There wasn't a storm in this story.
If they're not, but seas can get
rough.
stormy.
Yes.
So I'm thinking of the other story where Jesus calms the storm.
Well, there's often a storm at sea. There are. Especially in Lake Galilee, which was like a small sea.
Got our clear, it needs to be a clear bottle. And in it, you should have had in your pack a little bag of nice beads, and bits and pieces and sequins. Let's have a look what we've got. There's lots of nice beads. There's even some appropriately themed beads. Look, there's I've got a little tiny dolphin bead. There's a shell, a fish bead, and even a turtle. So a mixture of things, big beads, smaller beads. You could use anything. You could put glitter in, I suppose. You could put, I don't know, whatever you fancy. So we're going to put these into the bottle first. Let's have that first. And get them all in. Could have done with a little funnel, couldn't we? Hang on. Go this way. There we are.
Genius.
And they're all in, all the sequins. Okay.
That doesn't look very stormy.
Not yet. But next we're going to add just the tiniest drop of washing up liquid. You don't want too much, or else it will just turn into a bottle full of bubbles.
Still not very stormy.
Right, so now we're going to add some water. And we'll see what happens. Ooh, that's a nice noise, isn't it? Should we fill it that full to start with? See what happens. Let's put the lid, put the lid on, or else you're going to have a shower. Like that time you shook the milk bottle, Tim, and it went everywhere. So, just to be on the safe side, let's put a bit of sellotape as well, just in case. Do you want to have a shake?
Yeah, so this is a storm.
You're going to make a storm.
Ooh, look, you can see it whizzing around a bit there. And like a storm at sea.
The washing up liquid makes all those bubbles look like the foam on the sea that waves create.
There we go. Ooh, cool.
Very good.
There we go. Storm at sea,
yeah,
boat,
again,
fish,
you
jellyfish.
could decorate your bottle, couldn't you?
Okay.
Write a little title on it saying Storm at Sea. Or...
just in case you didn't know what it was.
Yeah. Right, and then finally we're going to finish with a under the sea picture. Here's one I made earlier. I didn't actually, somebody else made this, but it's a beautiful example of an under the sea picture. So let's just move all these fish and things out of the way. Over there. In your pack you will have had lots of pictures of creatures that live in the sea. Shall we see if we know what any of them are, Tim?
Ooh.
There's some clues to help you because there's like words on it with some letters.
It's a parrot.
It's
a parrot? Oh no, it's a seal.
A seal, I think, that one. We've got seahorse, we've got turtles, some shells.
Dolphins.
Starfish. So, basically, they're all for you to colour in and cut out. Do you want to start colouring something, Tim? Have some colours. Choose a nice one that we can cut out quickly and easily. So, you will have been given a piece of blue paper. Ooh, that's it. thought the computer had switched off then, Tim.
I seem to have gone to sleep.
Yeah, so a piece of blue paper. You could either, like on this one, you could paint some sand at the bottom with some yellow paint, or I thought just to be different, I might cut a piece of sand from a piece of yellow paper. So I'm going to just cut a strip like this, and I'm going to stick it on my blue paper like this. So just a little bit of glue. Look at that. Does that look like the bottom of the sea, Tim?
Yes, that looks very
We've got
sandy.
some sand. And then we could do with some seaweed. On this picture, it's been painted on. If you've got any green paints, you could use green crayons, green felt tips, or you could get some green card and cut out some bits of seaweed like this. Let's see how seaweedy we can make it. So, yeah, just different shapes like this. There we go. Bit of glue. Oh, yes. Oh, that's good for turtle. So I'm going to stick my seaweed down. There we go. So what animal have you coloured in, Tim?
A turtle. It's Timothy the turtle.
Timothy the turtle.
He appears in the New Testament. He's a friend of Paul.
Do with some more scissors and I can cut out some more sea creatures. But
Get
see if you can work out in your picture which ones need to go on the sand and which ones would be up in the water. Because, for example, I don't know, I think if you were cutting out the shell, that might probably go down on the sand. But the dolphin is probably swimming through the water.
So it was a bit rushed.
That's alright. So shall we stick Timothy the turtle on? Da-da-da.
Excellent.
There we go. So you can cut out as many of the sea creatures as you like and see how many you can squeeze in, or you could make a whole set of pictures. You could even use a big massive piece of paper if you wanted and do a huge under the sea scene. So it's up to you. You can just be really creative and make a really big under the sea picture. But that's just an idea to get you going. So yeah, there was I think you've got a colouring picture as well. Some cute little pictures to colour in, like this one here from the story. So that's it.
Thanks, Rachel. Let's get back to the boat. I'm back in my boat now for our closing prayer. Sadly, there isn't room for Rachel in here, but we're going to say a prayer just to finish. And it's a special prayer that's a traditional prayer from Ireland about the sea and about fish. So let's pray. Praise and gratitude to you, Holy Father. Praise and gratitude to you, Holy Father, who created the skies and the heaven first, and after that created the big wet sea and the heaps of fish in it, swimming closely. Amen. There we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's story and doing your crafts. Don't forget to send pictures of you doing your crafts or of your finished crafts, and maybe a picture of you in your boat that you've made, and send it to the usual address, media@standrews.cc. Bye. See you again soon.